roles here. So, Ben, tell me more about yourself. Tell the audience what Ben Chaos is.
Oh man, that's a lot to try to say. You know.
I know you're a big part in the Stockton community, especially in music.
Yeah, I could tell you right now. I'm trying to build some bridges out here. You know what I mean? Trying to build some bridges. That's actually the name of a song I got coming up too.
Nice.
Yeah, building a bridge.
Is it off your EP?
No, it's off the new album coming out.
Got you.
Yeah. So, really just trying to unite Stockton because we deserve it. You know, the people deserve it. We have a lot of talent out here. The highest level of loyalty of anywhere you'll probably ever go. You know, and it's our time. 2020 is our time. You know, got a lot of big things coming.
So, what do you do? I know that's a broad question. I know you do a lot, but if you could name off some of the things you do, like, do you do music? Do you host shows? Yeah. What do you play?
I do music. I'm a hip hop artist from out here, from Stockton.
Born and raised?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, man, I'm just trying to start a revolution, bro, to be honest with you. I mean, it's bigger than music, if we're going to be honest, you know. We're all fighting a war inside, you know, light versus dark.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because Star Wars is coming out tonight,
I know.
right?
We're about to see that at 11.
It's a lot realer than people might imagine, you know.
Yeah.
So, just trying to bring to light some things that have been we've been neglected from seeing out here in this valley. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I know in the valley, people are have a mindset that, like, you can only do so many things, and especially in Stockton, it's such a broad city. There's so many things to do. There's so many people. There's so many artists.
So much diversity, man.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I love about this place. There's just so much diversity. And again, I mean, the family oriented. I mean, like my circle, like my tribe, that's family. You know what I mean? And I mean, to the death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I know.
And we learned that in elementary school. You know, so you know, I think that the world needs that kind of. So what makes the good parts of Stockton, I think the world in general is lacking, if that makes sense. The bad parts of Stockton, we already know what those are. You know what I mean? So I think it's more like the qualities. If we can, like, put some of Stockton as a whole and identify the qualities, you know, like when I say, like, loyalty and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And, like, family oriented, you know, and we're strong out here, you know what I mean? We don't just lay down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
we need more love. We need more love in this world.
I try to, you know, basically in my music, I'm trying to articulate, you know, a lot of what I just said, you know, basically just trying to shed light, you know what I mean?
How long have you
Sometimes
been
shedding light through darkness, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
that does make sense. How long have you been in the Stockton music scene?
Man, it's
been a minute, huh?
Yeah, it's like 20 years now, man. 20 years, dude. It's a long time, yeah.
So, out of those 20 years, what's changed and what have you learned?
All right, so when I well, first we started off, like, in high school freestyling at parties.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So then, you know, we get the car, then we couldn't really afford beats at that time, you know, so we just put the radio on and it was like, go. So me and my boy, Keto, you know, his name, Raymond Williams, you know, he was like one of the dopest rappers I've ever heard to this day. And that was like my brother. That's my brother right now to this day. And we met on the playground in, like, elementary school. Anyways, he was always leagues ahead of everybody else with this freestyle flow or whatnot. So I had to try to keep up, you know. And so it started off with a lot of the, like, freestyling, you know, just going over a beat, whatever came on the radio. Then people started having, you know, the computer age came a little more in, and people started being able to make beats at home, and they were charging, so you know this and that, you know. So once we started being able to, like, manufacture and make our own CDs, and this is pretty much really before the internet took off.
So we're talking mixtapes?
No, we're talking albums, man.
Or did you ever do mixtapes, like cassettes?
No. I just, when I dropped my first album, it was CDs.
Okay.
When I dropped my first album. But people were dropping cassettes, for sure, before I dropped my album. Um,
So you're kind of ahead of the game in that way.
Yeah, and it was like hand-to-hand combat. You're out there like in front of Metro PCS, with the backpack, and you're selling your CDs,
Yeah, and the hustle.
And nobody would give me shows out here until finally Linda at Blackwater. If you remember Linda.
So are we talking before they shut down?
This is a long time ago.
Before they shut down and got new owners.
Yeah, Linda. Yeah, she was a good woman, man. She is a good woman. She's still alive. I keep saying was, man. I feel like I'm trying to...
Shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to Linda. What's up, Linda? So she gave me my first show anyways, right?
At Blackwater,
Blackwater, yeah. And my first show, 5 people showed up. And she was like, she's seen, and I hustled so long, before that, and not having any doors open. And I couldn't leave town, really. I had a little daughter. I know your father. You have a little kid. So I basically was, in town. And she looked at me and she was like, "It's gonna get better. Don't worry." You know what I mean? Like, and she meant that. She knew that though, because then within a year I had like 10 venues out here, and we're doing all kinds of shows. Bringing all kinds of big names out to rock with us. But long story short, it went from CDs, and then all of a sudden, the internet came with all the, everyone started getting their music online.
Yeah, the digital age.
The digital age came in hard, and now you're looking like you're a vagrant trying to sell your CD on the street. Like, you don't look like an artist no more. You look like you're like a homeless cat. Mm-hmm. And granted, I was homeless a little bit out here. I have been homeless out here.
Hey, some of the best artists have been during their time.
It happens, man. You put a lot into your craft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's changed is that. I mean, as far as that's how you can push the hustle part. People don't have to have a whole lot of actual physical hustle no more. They can just try to make their Instagram popular. You know what I mean? So they're losing something that's probably was very good for your growth as a person. You know what I mean? Because I don't think online hustling is really is it going to make you a better person? You know what I mean?
Right.
At all. You know what I mean? So, not to say that, you got to do it now. I'm not knocking no one's hustle.
No, there's just something about the physical footwork of hustling and
talking to human beings.
Right.
You know what I mean? Eye-to-eye, and having the confidence to do that. You know what I mean? So, and it reflects in shows, because I see a lot of people that they will not rap. Speaking on rap music right now, they will not rap without having their whole album playing in the background. So, you know what I mean? They're not walking a tightrope, a lot of these guys, And
you mean they wouldn't rap without their own instrumentals?
No. They're rapping with their lyrics on there, dude. It's borderline lip singing. A lot of these cats. And
so they have it.
And they're making that to be cool.
Back,
and no one's teaching these kids that's not like back in the day. You've been like, you're not a rapper, bro. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So so it's taking that. It's weakening the craft a little bit. But it's not these kids' fault. They were shown by people older than them to do that. You know what I mean? So they just got. So hopefully we could show them the real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one. I think an important thing we can do as older. Being an older artist. You're young. You're young.
Yeah.
But me as an older artist, I've been around from I feel like the golden era of music and rap music for sure, which is the 90s for sure, so that's what we could bring to the table. That's one thing we could bring to the table is teaching them. So that's how it changed though. So the sonically the music has also changed too though, like with the engineering. So like a lot of these new cats, their music sounds really good, to the ear, you know what I mean? They're not really saying much, a lot of them, though. There's not a lot of saying, but it sounds sonically good. So I can't even imagine what would happen if Tupac was alive right now with some of these engineers that are out with the sonic level. You know what I mean? Like, that would be crazy, dude. Like, crazy. So I'm definitely trying to step my sonic level up. That's why I'm recording right now at Studio C. Shout out,
Where's that at?
It's in Stockton. Nice. Shout out to Sam, it's going to be good. Shout out to Lenny, you know what I mean? So
over these 20 years, what have you really learned over that?
We don't have enough time to even discuss that. What have I learned as far as what, like?
What have you learned in music that's made you a better artist than you were
when I started? That's just, man. Honestly, that's just practice, dude. Like it's just doing it so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A better artist is you get more comfortable on. The more you perform, the more comfortable you are on stage. I've always wrote from what comes from the heart anyway, so it always comes from my own experience and how I feel. So that's never been a problem for me. But recently, like going to make the jump to go record at the highest level studio I could find, whatever. And there's other studios out there that are very good too. But, basically, I feel like it has to be on that sonic level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It has to be on that sonic level. So because if I want to reach the world, right? I want to get my music out to the world. It's not even about money, but I want them to hear it. I want to change. I want to be able to change the world in some way. Music saved my life as a child, so I want to be able to just flood it with what I got, what I've learned, and what I'm about. With what Stockton the Stockton energy. I want to put that Stockton energy out there. You know what I mean? That Stockton experience out there. And hopefully we can
Not a lot of people know about that Stockton energy
Exactly.
that are from outside of Stockton, and for the ones who
Exactly.
are in Stockton know about that Stockton energy. So it's great to have all this different types of people in this city,
Yes.
different types of music, and I like the fact that the music culture is mashing into different genres. I like the fact that metal bands are now performing with hip hop artists and vice versa, and I like that mashup because I feel like that's a good way to growth and become better at it,
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
with the Return of the Viking tour, I like the fact that you have these hip hop artists, but you're also playing with these heavy death metal bands, and that's one thing that goes to heart is I love metal, and so
Yeah.
for the ones that are out there that love the same thing, it's great with the Return of the Viking tour. How did you get that started up? What was your first ideas?
The shows that we used to do, I've always done mixed shows since I started. I'd always put on different, we'd have different genres there, always. So I feel like again, that's uniting the town through music,
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really about, if other artists are putting their craft out from their heart or whatnot, eventually their fan base is going to see that in this fan base, you know what I mean? So now we're building bridges all the way around, you know what I mean? And the crowd, and honestly, it's way less worrisome in the crowd because everyone's they're kind of content. They're kind of okay, this is a mashup that we can maybe bond with just with our love for music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that keeps it more peaceful, which is important. I mean, and
because it opens more doors to people to.
And I love all kinds of music, man. So I want to
Yeah.
perform with all them. And for me, as a hip hop artist, I love to have to challenge myself because a really dope metal band, they're so good musically, and they're so live that I have to bring a lot to go after one of them. You know what I mean? To the table. It's going to force me to have to, go hard as possible. And that's how we get better. You know what I mean? We put ourselves in situations of adversity or whatever too, like if you're in 8th grade, you should be playing, you want to become a basketball star, then go play with the seniors in high school and let them, you're going to lose a whole lot, but you're going to get a lot better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with anything. You're a fighter, it don't matter. Anything, you should always put yourself in that situation. I think it's kind of like that because musically, I mean, there's so much energy when you got 6 of them doing that, 5 of them doing that, and then I come up there by myself after. So it's forcing me to have to do that. And the ones we brought out have been really, you've seen some of them, so they've been really talented artists. So
I was lucky enough to have a couple of my past bands play
exactly,
on the Return of the Viking tour. It kind of reminds me of Travis Scott Astroworld Festival, where he had a bunch of big time hip hop and rap artists, but then again had artists like Marilyn Manson. And it's just something like that about bridging both cultures into one I think is very,
because it really
very special and needed.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, this is all bigger than music. Music is a tool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it's a tool, and it's a tool being used against us as a human race already. You know what I mean? So what we do with our tools, is very important. You know what I mean? And ultimately, like I said at the beginning of this interview, is that it's really about revolution. But if you want to know one thing, what I've learned through my 20 years, for real though, is in the beginning, my mind was, this is going to be a bloody revolution. It's going to be a violent revolution. And so I trained myself for that, prepared mentally for that, and all that. But what I've learned, what I've just come to realize is it's not going to be that. The other side already got that when that happens. And that's going to probably happen, and they're probably going to be able to, it's going to be pretty crazy. But the revolution is love. And that probably sounds, people that look at my music, heard my music, me saying that probably sounds crazy to them. But it's unconditional love, you know what I mean? And it's the love frequency that it's helping people around you, you know what I mean? Not because you want to get on Instagram and talk about it or anything like that. Like, helping people and don't get caught helping people. You know what I mean? Don't let no one catch you doing it. Don't talk about it, just do it. You know what I mean?
Check me out. I went out and fed the homeless today.
None of that. Just do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just do it.
And I think that on a great, and they're trying to tear the family apart. So I think they don't want that love between the man and the woman, that like, or I mean, they don't want that that bond. You know what I mean? No more. They don't want that family oriented stuff. So they're trying to do everything they can to pin women and men against each other. And I don't know if you can see it all over social media. The last year has been brutal. It's been brutal.
Yeah.
So I think that if something's going that hard on that, you know, against that, then obviously that's probably that's what they're probably most afraid of. So if that's what they're most afraid of, that's where our power lies.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? So that's how we're going to change the world for real. So I mean, if people, about one person at a time, you know, they just start feeling that way, and hopefully they can do their part. You know, like if I see a family, man, I'm like, you guys, if I see a family and they're happy or not happy, whatever, I'm like, you guys are the revolution. Take care of each other. Take care of each other. Period. You know what I mean? And if I see someone trying to snake in on that, then I'll throw, you know what I mean? Then I'm gonna intervene, because it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Definitely.
Well, it takes a village to nurture families. So we should be nurturing our families out here, not these rappers talking about, or I'm gonna your girl, blah blah. You know, there's that, you know, and these people thinking it's cool to go do that. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, if I see some of that stuff in front of me, I see someone trying to intervene in a happy family, I'm gonna slap the taste out their mouth.
See,
you know what I mean? I don't even care.
For me, I think the most powerful weapon when it comes to the game in hip hop is the artists who can rap without cussing, without using vulgar language, without doing any hate, is the most, I say, probably the most dangerous rappers out there, because they're sending their message without using anything like hateful in a way, and I feel like that's very important in our society. I think we need more artists that are doing that.
I think it's for different things, different purposes. You know, like I think like for example, like Will Smith, you know,
Don't got a cousin that raps and sells records. Well, I do.
Yeah. But I think when Will Smith was Fresh Prince back in the day, like, he had clever rhymes. I mean, like I was a little kid listening to some of that stuff, I remember, you know, and I was like, he would tell stories in his rhymes too, you know, and he was a good dude. I mean, his father and all that, you know, as far as I know, or whatever, you know, he's a good dude. Again, though, but I think the most powerful person in the history of hip-hop music was Tupac Shakur. So it was like, he did cussing and stuff. So I think it depends on who you're trying to reach, you know, like, if you're trying to reach, like, music has a lot of catharsis or whatever, you know, that the word, you know, so, like, the people that I can reach is different than maybe someone he could reach. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, so there's a place for it. It just depends. But yeah, if you're only spreading hate, if there's no method to your madness, then you're just working for the other side. You don't even know it. But
on that point, I had a question. You mentioned that music is being utilized as a weapon against us.
Yes.
I'm assuming you're speaking about certain non-material forces being used within music to infect our wavelength, our consciousness.
There's a lot. I mean,
are you talking about stuff like that?
There's the frequency stuff. You're talking about frequencies, but I mean, there's definitely frequencies, but also it's how they want to set trends. So like, they want to put people together, then they want to break people apart. You know what I mean? Like, they're these
So we're not
trends,
talking
you know
about
what I mean?
just like rituals on master records like Led Zeppelin.
No. I mean, we are talking about that. That's a part of it too. I mean, that's the frequencies, and we could go into that forever. I mean, that kid Triple X, they think that's why he got killed. he was talking about that frequency stuff. You know what I mean? So
can you implement? Can you or do you know anyone who maybe is currently working on that, implementing sort of a counter? To that, implementing the
people
same
have been sending
method,
me.
But like,
they've been sending me different frequency lengths that would be are for that's supposed to mean different things.
Mm-hmm.
I got to research way more before I know what's what. You know, I'm not I don't. There's a lot of disinformation out there in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't want to like learn some information that's actually put down from somewhere else, and you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
My music teachers always tell me it takes way more to fix something that's learned wrong.
Yeah.
Than it is to just learn it right. Learn it the first time. So what you're saying, if you're implementing something wrong, then going back and fixing that, it's going to take you double the time still to work.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking at that frequency thing. They got these frequency meters apparently, so you can like, I don't know how it works. I hope my engineers know. Right. I mean, hopefully they know. But that's part of it too. But I think they're just like basically. I mean, now with the conjunction of social media, they have it's like possessing people. You know what I mean? Like by modifying their behavior, by controlling their thoughts and their fears and insecurities. So they're making people move around in different ways. And it's like a meme culture. So we have to counteract that by communicating about that, teaching these youngsters about that, and that would
so
be important.
To touch up on your album, when, what, how are you gonna release it? What's the title?
I'm hoping.
What information do you have on that album?
Keep it a secret, man. No. It's going to be called Viking Geronimo. Geronimo. And
keeping the Viking theme.
Yeah. And we're looking at late April, hopefully. But I'm not going to rush like I said, there's talking about looking at frequencies and stuff too, looking at everything, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to rush it, But once they come out, they're going to be coming out like for 2 years straight, you know what I mean? There's going to be 3 of them. So it'll be worth the wait, and I think the city will be proud of it. Something for the city to be proud of, I hope. All I can do is exercise my demons, man. You know what I mean, and see who can attach to it. You know what I mean? In a good way, not attached to the demons, but attached to the healing, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
For those of you who are just joining in, you are listening to the Artist Hour on TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin in Stockton, 89.5 FM KBCC Tracy. Tonight with us is Ben Kaos. Ben, where can people find your music?
All platforms. Go to Spotify for sure.
And that is BENKAOS.
K to the A to the O to the S. Yeah.
Hey, so we were just touching up on his album that's going to be released next year. So what's the theme? Does it have a theme?
It's very humanistic. Human nature, human nature and this war within that we all go through to different levels, and it has a lot to do with that.
Do you have any
lot to do with that.
Special artists on there? Any guests?
The first 2, my daughter's gonna sing on it. That's it.
Nice.
The first 2 albums, that's it. Just me and my daughter. And then the third one's gonna have. There'll be some good ones.
Nice.
There's some good ones, yeah. That are already signed up. So that's the last one is the pillaging of the Death Star.
Okay.
That's the final,
There you go.
That's the final battle. So we live in that right now. So shout out to Rodney right here.
Yep.
She
Shout
knows
out to
she knows
Ronnie.
what's going on. She's a hostess of all my shows right now, and she brings me out, and she also raps. And
With the Rise and Shine 209 here on the voice of San Joaquin.
And she makes good honey. Or she don't make the honey, but she collects it.
Hey.
And she makes soap.
So I wanted to ask you. So I saw like about a couple of weeks ago you shared a link to one of your older music videos with Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what was that about? I did listen to it a couple times actually.
Well, that song was a song I already had done. So
it was a remix, right?
Yeah, DJ No Shame remixed that song because he was our DJ at the time, and I knew I was gonna do a video with Nick. I wanted to I felt like Nick was a fan of my music, and became a good friend of mine, and he did a lot for Stockton and a lot for his
Yeah.
martial arts stuff. You know what I mean? So it seemed right at the time. What I was doing was all those shows I was doing and everything, and I was like, man, you know, let's do a music video. You know what I mean? And we did it. We did a music video, and the song was a remix of "In It to Win It," which is on the Method to Madness album.
Yeah.
So they sound completely different. Both songs they sound completely different. So it changed the direction of how the video was going to be. And Ron Ross, you know, rest in peace, Ron, man. That dude, man, he made like my second and third and fourth video, and that was one he made. And that dude was a good dude, man. Rest in peace, Ron. So yeah, the dynamic he had at first was for the old song, and it was like it looked more like a highlight type situation. And I think the other one is more like artistic, I guess you could say, or
Okay.
just, I don't know. It's can't really explain it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys just watch it and you can explain it for yourself. You know, you can make up your own, draw your own conclusions on that one.
Was there
You
any
know?
time in your career here that you've taken some breaks?
Yes. Not breaks from writing though.
That's good.
I've always
always keep
since,
writing.
But I've been writing since I was a kid, so no breaks from that. But I haven't dropped an album in quite some time now. It's been like 3 or 4 years.
Oh,
So
nice. So there's a lot of anticipation going into this album. in
yeah, it's
2020
hard for me
then.
not to release it like right now because I already
Yeah.
have the rough drafts are better than my finished drafts before almost, you know. So, but like I said, I got to take my time with the rest of it. So I am anxious to drop it, especially as I see these different artists, the mainstream artists dropping things that are like similar now that are on it that I've been doing for like years, right?
Right.
And on a weaker note though, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I can't wait to drop this to clown, you know, and clown these fools, clown their avatars in the industry, you know. But I'm not discrediting anybody's art, but it's like it's our time.
But, I mean,
it's our
there's
time. I'm coming
levels.
to take what's
There are
ours.
levels
There's levels
to
to
it,
it.
you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, it's our time, and I'm coming with my tribe to take everything that was taken from us from the beginning. So I hope they're ready for their sake.
So basically mind blown. So when you release this, are you gonna have a release show for this? Are you gonna
Yeah,
keep doing the Return of the Viking tours?
definitely gonna have a record release show. Don't know where, don't know when.
Do you want to keep working with these metal bands, these bands in general?
I'm gonna work. I'm gonna keep doing that. I mean, I know when I have to do my tour through distribution, it's gonna be different. But Rondae's gonna be, you know, taking a lot of booking, and she's gonna be watching over it. And I'm gonna definitely make sure that it stays safe and everyone stays respecting what was built here. You know, so I'll have people there making sure that happens. And,
For sure.
Um,
Earlier we
Yeah,
talked
so-
about you working more with the flower shop. So
Whoa.
what is that? What are you going to be doing with that?
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, we all right. So I ended up popping up and performing there the other night. You know,
Was it last weekend or this weekend?
when was it? Last
Last
week.
weekend.
So yeah, so I popped up there and it was good energy, dude. Like the show part of it, the performing at the stage and stuff. So I was like, that's cool. So we talked to the owner about it, and we have this idea for something called the Proving Grounds, which is going to allow like 10 to 20 artists or whatever every time, you know, and they can rock for 10 minutes or whatever, and you know, give them a place to meet each other, you know,
Yeah.
and perform, perfect their sets, and then maybe have some like other cats on there showing them like, okay, you know, like keep the bar high, like what you
Yeah.
gotta get towards, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, when because like I mentioned, I'm going to start taking over booking alternative bands and bands in general going into January for the flower shop. I just sat down with Josh about a week ago, and we kind of had a conversation, and he was telling me that his shift right now for the flower shop has gone towards more hip hop side.
that's what it looked like we were there.
Yeah.
So
And he said that it's different. He hasn't really done that before, but so far he's enjoying it, and it's going pretty good. And there's a high market for it too,
yeah, there's a lot
especially
of artists there.
there's a lot of artists in Stockton, and so that's pretty cool. You're working and reaching out with that organization.
You know, it comes down to like, I got a soft spot in my heart for artists, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the first time we did this, you know, it was like I was I just let everyone jump on these bills that I had the first time, and I shouldn't have let everyone go on in those first shows. You know what I mean? Because it was like it devalued some of the shows because not everyone was ready.
I hope you didn't regret any of my past plans.
This has nothing to do with you, dude.
Okay,
this is years ago. This was you were probably like
for sure
nah, yeah,
you were a little
me.
kid back then. Like, this is like 10 years back, right? So we had some great shows, but sometimes it just got too flooded. It's too much for the crowds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Too many people. And I just was like, come on, let's go. Let's go. You know, we're all in this together, you know. But that probably can't happen because the crowds are not going to want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the proving grounds is a chance for everyone can it's almost like an open mic, but not an open mic. They'll have their sets and they can do. And part of it will be them marketing themselves. I mean, if they can get people to come and watch them perform, it's going to look better for their little videos, whatever they're doing, you know what I mean? And it's going to make their experience better. So that's on them. And we're probably not going to even charge at those shows. So ain't no one making no money on it. I mean, we might charge like $3 to pay whatever, the sound people or whatever, you know? But those shows are going to be free. So,
so there's going to be recorded video sessions of these.
I would hope.
Shows.
I mean, that's anyone that wants to do that can do
that.
That
Seems to be the next thing.
Whoever wants to do it can do it. You know what I mean? It can
Right.
be there and they can record. And you know, I'm not wearing that hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not my hat to
Right.
wear. You know, but I'll make sure these things are safe. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, for sure.
And make
For
sure, you know what I mean?
No.
And make sure they happen. And
No, I know, and going into booking for the flower shop next year, that's probably one of the things I want to really focus on is the safety of the guests, the safety of the artists, and the safety of the venue, and
it's important.
yeah, and that definitely is important. And speaking of which, I have your next biking is next weekend, right?
Yeah, my next show is the 27th.
That kind of
The 27th of
Cautious.
at Chativa's, December 27th. It's gonna be Perp Reynolds is on there, Sam Raw's on there, Kevin Wilson's on there, Prize Fighter, Knockdown, and who else? Swift Homicide, and then Saga's now on there, and then myself.
Yeah.
You know, so it's gonna be a good show.
That's a cool
It's gonna be a good show.
That's a cool
Yeah.
mix.
It's gonna be a
It
good
is.
show. It's gonna be a good show.
And you know what else
You know,
is
so.
December 27th, Alejo?
December 27th is our Tower Up show.
It is. It is. So
I was like, I'm dropping my kids off.
Nah, you are. So yeah, the same day is gonna be the next Tower Up for the radio
What time
station.
is that at?
It's gonna be at Blackwater, and it's
Okay.
gonna be 5 bands, $5 at the door, and it's what's pretty cool is you said you're having Knockdown on your show. They played the last Tower Up.
Yep. And they sounded really good.
Oh yes.
Yeah, my
yes.
daughter was talking about them. She told me about them too. So
So
They're
yeah,
awesome.
They plug in.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they're from Stockton too.
Yeah.
So I know they haven't played a show in a while, but the next show, the next Tower Up, Great Blue is going to be headlining, which is a really cool band in Stockton. They play math rock, and I know
Shout out
they
to
just
Vincent.
shout out to Vincent. He was on our show too.
Yeah.
They just released their Binary album earlier this year, so they're going to be headlining. And then Kato and the Donuts is from Tracy and Lodi, around that area.
Mm-hmm.
And then All Goes Well is an upcoming Stockton band. Same with That's Rude. So those two bands are upcoming. They just started this year. And then Gnarly Critter. Kind of sucks. I wanted Woozy Not God because they were
Mhm.
going to perform at Eat the Police, but Woozy had to drop. So Gnarly
Right.
Critter is going to be doing a
They
hip
I'm
hop
gonna
slash
be there, so.
alternative set.
sounds like there's gonna be a lot of good music then.
Mhm.
It is, and what's cool about Stockton's music scene is, like, every other weekend or maybe sometimes every weekend, there's shows and there's multiple shows in different
Yeah.
places, so you can go and
You can show
know.
hop.
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
you can show hop. You can go and catch the next Viking tour, and then watch some artists and or go to the Tower Up, or vice versa. You know, and I know there's other venues like Channel Brew in downtown Stockton. They throw a lot of
I think that
shows.
place is done, no? They're still going down?
I'm not sure.
Channel Brew still around?
No, they shut
No,
down.
no.
Really?
No way,
Shut
really?
down. They're completely shut down, out of business.
Oh my.
Ooh, all right.
Oh, you know what
Yes,
else?
people
Hold
can
up. You know,
have
look. Also on the show, we got Motec is gonna speak,
Oh,
No,
yes.
which is going to be the next mayor, hopefully, of Stockton, is what the goal is, right?
Nice.
And so he'll be out there. So
Nice.
that's cool.
So yeah, That's a pretty cool lineup. You're like mashing everything together, so it's not just music,
Trying to,
you know.
man.
It's man.
I mean, we got a plan for this town. I mean, we got to fix the air, the water. We got to get rent control. I mean, there's things that have to happen here that haven't happened that are way beyond time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the water has been bad for years now.
I honestly
You know?
just heard about the whole water situation.
Man, dude, we fought for that stuff so hard.
He's a
man.
foreigner. Huh? You're outside.
Whoa, easy there. Easy,
Nah,
killer.
nah.
Crazy.
Easy
man.
there, white man.
The water, though, like the fact that that's the most important resource, water and air, and they're spraying that mosquito spray 8 months a year everywhere out here,
Yeah.
the vector, and they act like it's all good. That ain't good. Are you scared of West Nile virus, or do you want these little babies breathing this stuff in? You know
I
what
mean,
Come
I
on.
lived in Argentina around puddling water
you
a
ain't
lot,
tripping.
and I don't got no West Nile.
Exactly. So let's get rid of that stuff, and let's get rent control reasonable
Yeah.
before anything else. You know, it's like, let's go.
So
that is a
You know.
huge issue, especially because more and more people are being finding themselves unable to afford to live in their own hometown.
yeah.
Yeah.
know?
And where do you go from here? You know what I mean? Like, where do you go if you can't make
To
it
the-
here?
I
Like,
mean-
you can't survive here. I mean, make it is one thing, but survive here as far as like financially.
The everyday.
Yeah.
Where do you
the
go
everyday.
outside? You know, if you can't
Yeah.
survive, I mean, then you're stuck here. Now you're in the street. Now there's all these homeless people.
Yep.
Some of these homeless people are just straight drug addicts, though. They've been shipped here. Or
Right.
something. I don't even
Yeah.
know. I don't even know what's going on with that. I've never seen half these people. And I've been here. I've been
It's
in the streets every day,
it almost
dude.
seems
You know,
like
like,
that
where are these
one
guys
South
from? I
Park
don't know that.
episode where
You
they
know?
ship people
Yeah,
around.
something,
It
there's
almost
something
seems like
bizarre
that.
going on with that. Something real bizarre.
There
going
is
on with that.
also there's a lot of mental health facilities that are
Yeah.
shutting down, and
Yeah.
that's contributing. And it's a conglomeration of things. Mental health facilities are shutting down. Rent control is something that needs to be under control because now people are homeless. Drug addiction is huge, which is hand in hand with mental health. Like there's just a lot of things that go hand in hand that we can say like, oh, they need to be fixed, but it takes work.
Yeah. So as Ben's talked about his album, what about your album? You wanna drop
My
some
album
details on the
is,
Bright Side of Suicide's album?
It's gonna be called Chinese Democracy. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm planning on releasing it at the latest this summer. And
It's gonna be under Bright Side of Music or Bright Side of Suicide.
I'm probably gonna be changing my name to Bright Side Music because I feel like the name The Bright Side of Suicide doesn't really represent me
anymore.
anymore. I mean, when I was young and I came up with the name, I was 15, and back then, yeah, it was cool to have shock value, but it's not really cool when I feel some type of way about having my kid sporting my merch at school.
Yeah.
I can't have my kid with a shirt that says suicide right on it going
You-
to school.
you-
And my
you're-
kid really loves my music,
Your point of views change when you become a father, when you get into adulthood.
Yeah. And I mean, I know it's not, it's not street, it's not cool to I guess change for the better.
Yeah.
But
It's the right thing
I
to do. It's the
mean,
right thing, man.
that's what really got me when my kid told me like he wanted to sport my sticker on his stuff, and I was like, bro, I can't let you take that to school, and not because it's anything bad, but it's just gonna bring him unwanted negative attention, and I don't want that for him. He's 8 years old.
Yeah.
I don't want him to have to explain to people why his stepdad has a band that quote unquote glorifies suicide. You know what I mean? And it's not. It's different. So, in lieu of that, in lieu of bettering the message, I feel like Brightside Music is a more fitting name, and I probably will be changing to that.
Since we're talking about change, I'm going to be changing up Worst Friends. That's going to be coming up in 2020. Following, after the departure of the rest of the members. I think I'm going to go at a different approach. It's not necessarily starting from square one because, Worst Friends Forever, the brand and the entity is already up and people know of it. But it is kind of in a way starting from scratch to where I think I want to start from the way I kind of did it from the beginning is getting back into that mindset and starting that grind up again and maybe changing the genre and going in a different way. So the way I was burned, I won't get burned again. You know, you live and you learn, and it's something I started. You know, it's my baby, so I really don't really want to give it up. It's okay to put it on hold until I can get it back up to where I really want it to be. Then it gives me more opportunities to focus on, for example, the Artist Hour and helping, you know, get the brand up there with my GSP Media Productions. And just giving back to the community, because that's mainly what the Artist Hour and what the Voice of San Joaquin is giving back to the community, getting these local artists onto the show and playing their music and getting them the free exposure that they deserve. Because, I mean, as an artist, you know, you work so hard, you want to get to a point to where you want all that to see and you want it to prosper, you know.
On that note, we made a couple of announcements through our social media accounts about we are going to be starting up about a half hour of rotating local music before the show every week. And so if you would like your band's music to be rotated, please contact me or Josh, and we'll get you squared up with all the paperwork, tell you what you need to send us, and everything, so that we can get you on there.
And that's going to be fun. I'm going to be looking forward to DJing all these local artists' music, and it's definitely going to be cool. We need to get you, Ben Kaos, on that rotation.
Yeah, put whatever music you want of mine on there. It's all good.
For sure. Remember, it's got to be radio edited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no vulgar language, no explicit content.
There's some good ones though. Closure's a good song for that. Everything's a good song for that. Can't
And if
stop.
not, you know, if there's a song that you really want to have out there and it does have curse words, you run it as
yeah, she'll make it.
Man, she does it really good.
Yeah, she'll end up doing all that well for the older stuff before the new one drops. So.
Speaking of which, she mixed Gnarly Critter and Woozy's song last week.
Oh, no way.
Or the week before that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, she did a really cool radio edited
I did my
of that
first
one.
official radio edit
today,
for
huh?
Willpower.
Willpower.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it, dude. It came out
I listened to
tight.
it. It was pretty dope. What do you think about that? Do you think you'll be doing more of those?
I mean, I don't see why not. It didn't, you know, it was definitely fun. So, yeah. I don't see why not.
For sure. So, when's your next show after next weekend? What do you have planned?
So I got a show on Saturday in Modesto.
Oh,
hey.
So I'm performing in Modesto at this it's a toy drive type situation.
Oh,
so,
yep.
nice.
I have that flyer
Yeah,
too.
you got to bring your toy.
Yeah.
It's on Saturday.
That's cool.
And then a few of us artists are going to be rocking. Coldbolt's the one out there throwing it, and I've done a lot of shows that he's thrown before. So
it's at the Running Iron, right?
Yeah, Running Iron. So for a good cause, so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Let's go.
That's going to be 516 McHenry Avenue,
Yeah.
Running Iron in Modesto.
Yeah.
And he's actually playing with Woozy Not God.
Yeah.
No way.
That's on the lineup.
That's this Saturday?
This Saturday, come out there. Come and see us. It's gonna be good.
down.
It's gonna be good. Bring a toy. Bring toys.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry if I
Toys.
butcher these names, but the
toys.
Valligators, Rock and Brad Thomas, Third Eye Team.
Third Eye Team? My buddy Calvin's in that.
Hey, Wigonomics. There you go. Ben Kaos, Joaquin, Woozy Not God, I Double, Uzi, spelled Oozee, and Jessamine. I'm pretty sure I butchered that one, but yeah, that's gonna be at the Running Iron, December 21st.
Yeah, so we got that on the 21st and the 27th at Chativas, which is we talked about that already. That's in Stockton, Waterfront Warehouse. Then the 4th, Sal Rosa's doing that show at the Flower Shop. Ronnie's going to host that. I'm going to rock on that one too.
Shout out to Sal Rosa.
Yeah, and
Shout
then
out to Sal Rosa.
the 31st, another back at the Chativas again with another show. In between, I'll probably be doing like something. I'm sure I'll pop up at some other shows because I'm trying to perform as much as possible right now. It's like training.
Yeah,
for
I was
me
gonna
right
say
now.
like Joe Rogan talks about
Yeah,
his
it's training right
his
now.
open micing nights where he's like just
Yeah.
running through sets, you know, and
Yeah.
like bombing if he has to,
Yes.
whatever, you know, and then just by the time you get to the show,
Yep.
you know, it's like working out.
And then once
Yeah.
this other tour starts, you know, I know I'm not going to have, like, I have to have everything on point. So it's like I have to just, like, anything you do in this world, you need to practice, you know what I mean? I mean, as much as you can. That gives you a better sense of security when you're up there anyways, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you know you did it. And then you could, there's always like variables that happen in shows. I mean, you could get knocked off your game for whatever traumatic thing happened in the day or something. So
I was gonna ask you about that.
You feel me? You could drink too much. I mean, man, I've definitely went on some rants back in my day.
I've had my share of shows where I don't remember playing.
I've stopped shows and in the middle and started ranting about crazy political stuff, dude. You know what I mean? Like, and they're just like, damn, we don't need all that, you know. So, it's good to be able to like be really, really good and have all your stuff memorized and get the art out to everyone the way that it's meant to. That you mean to put it out the way you want to put it out.
So would you say the Return of the Viking tour for you is more practice?
No, not really. The tour part of not really. No, I mean I think a lot of stuff is it's never practice.
What's the goal for you then for the
It's
Return
never
of the
practice. The
Viking?
goal for me is the Return of the Viking thing is just it's I'm back in Stockton. I was gone for a year. I was living in SoCal for a year. So I'm coming back. The album's called Viking Geronimo, and I seen all this stuff when I came back. I'm like, nah. Let's put this city back together. You know what I mean? So trying to leave something. So I want to try to make something that's going to be concrete. You know what I mean? So it doesn't just. So when I go and do what I got to do, and travel around with this music, it doesn't just dissipate again. Like
by the way,
last two
congratulations
times, you know what I mean?
on getting that. Being able to
thank
travel
you.
with your music is not an easy thing to achieve. It's not. I mean, it's the goal, to be able to move around, play your music, and So congrats on that. Like,
thank you.
It's a big thing.
So from SoCal back to Stockton, what was the difference? Because I know SoCal is totally different. From out here.
I mean, I was in Santa Barbara.
Were you doing music out there too?
I did 2 shows out there that I threw. One went good, one was terrible. It just was. I learned a lot out there. I learned a lot about myself. I really delve into like human nature and psychology and everything I learned from here, and then just watching. I didn't really integrate too much. I was out there with my family and my wife at the time, and basically, so she was going to school, so I had the whole day, where I just was like, I could do most of my financial stuff over the phone, basically, or I had to come up north to take care of stuff or whatnot. But so I was able to make sure we had our money to, we were doing fine that way. But so I had a lot of time on my hands to just explore, and explore inside myself and learn. And
sometimes it's needed to step out and take a break and then come back to
a lot of reflecting
with the clear head.
A lot of reflecting, a lot of internal soul searching. I read a lot of books. They have crazy books. They have so much books. They have bookstores out there, and like there's so much information that is just not available out here, dude. I mean, there is on YouTube or whatnot,
but
that's web, that's like it's just a whole bunch of information, which is half truths like anything else. But when you read books, whole books on the subjects from different angles, you start getting what it really is. You know what I mean?
I've really gotten into if we're gonna find something, I'm not gonna Google it. Let me go to like a data research base.
Yeah.
I use Hattie Trust, HATHI Trust, and like I use that for like I don't know, research about something that happened in the 1800s in South America. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find that out. Boom, I got like documents. You know what I mean? And I can read it. So, and you're using, reliable sources that if somebody questions you can be like, well, go read it yourself.
And that doesn't mean the author was correct in any of these books.
No.
What it means is if you do it from different angles, you start finding where the truth.
Right.
Most things are like truth surrounded by
half truth,
or leading different directions. You know what I mean? So most things are like that in this world, but you really want to be your own doctor in this world, and not just your physical health. You want to be your own mental, spiritual, and emotional health. You know what I mean? We're made up of all 4 of those things. So it's important that you start. It's good to start with the physical part because it's easy. You start understanding like what you should and shouldn't eat. You start understanding what you bathe in, and what you products you let around you. You know what I mean? Like from the glades, the glade clip on. All that stuff's terrible for you, man. All that. So when you get deep into it, you see what is slowing down your immune system or calcifying the glands in your head. You know what I mean? So it's like start there, and then you start looking up psychology and human nature, and you start looking into like your childhood development, and you start seeing why you may be certain ways in certain situations. You know what I mean? And like I think we all, because ultimately, like, if you want to end up falling in love and having a family, people I think want that. You know what I mean? But if people haven't settled everything, you know, it's with the adversity, with social media being so powerful in music, you know, and it's trying to stop that from happening, the obstacles that are created now, you really have to have an inventory of yourself at a level that's really hard to have any hope of having a lasting relationship. You know what I mean? So, you know,
I mean, you have to be happy with yourself in order to help somebody else's happiness.
Exactly. You have to be comfortable in your skin, and you have to be.
But
you don't know how you're going to be. See, the thing is, you can't judge. You don't know how you're going to be in every situation.
Right. Because
there might be something that maybe your childhood defense mechanisms got you so far in life, as far as in successful financially or successful in like your goals, right? But those same survival mechanisms are horrible in a relationship.
Definitely.
When you fall in love. So that needs to be taken into account too. So, I mean, we're kind of taking a lot of information. I mean, there's just so much that needs to happen, you know, to be able to clean out your internal universe, man. I mean, you know, so you can do the things that you were meant here to do, because we're tricked into believing that we're not what we really are. You know what I mean? We are powerful beings, dude. All of us, every single human being on here, on this planet. So it's like, but we're so tricked into, and we're smothered by like fear or insecurity or all these things,
just
you know,
artificial light.
Yeah, we're just so smothered. So it's like, you know, let's understand what we are. I mean, we're all like, this guy explained, I'm not gonna say his name, but he's a cool dude. But he explained something the other day to me, and he said he figured it out on a shroom trip, right?
Okay.
And he said, like, imagine if, you know, the universe, if at one point there was a creator of the universe, you know what I mean, and he was just lonely. It was just lonely energy, like, man. And it just said, man, check this out. It tricked itself to forget what it was and break into trillions of different things. You know what I mean? Trillions of difference of minerals, right?
Right.
And those minerals as they evolve. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then now see how they interact with each other and come back together. I'm not saying that's true.
No.
But I thought it was a dope.
I mean, it's definitely It's
you know what I mean?
It's definitely interesting. It's for sure.
We definitely are all connected, though.
Yeah, there's something,
You know,
something.
energies,
There's something that's something. It's undeniable. You
Yes.
know what I mean? The human experience is something that, you know, there's a reason we are all attracted to some level. Even people who are like, I don't listen to music. To some level, you're attracted to the power of sound, and sound affects you. Organized sound enriches your life. You know what I mean? And that's what music does. I read it in a book. And I repeat this phrase all the time. It enriches the human experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The experience of being human is made whole and fulfilled by the motion of air hitting our eardrums. You know?
It'd be interesting if there was no such thing as sound, or we didn't have ears. You know?
Yeah.
How the world would be? I don't know. You know, so there'd be some other form of something, but
it would probably be able to. I mean, it's all vibrations.
Yeah.
You know, so essentially those airwaves that hit your eardrum, you would be able to probably perceive it some sort of other way through vibration.
Well, try to see the world just energetically, like without matter, as matter just can be lifted up. You know what I mean? And that's how you check auras, man. I know people are good people or not, or where they're at, because people fluctuate from being good and bad sometimes, you know. But
so
their intentions, you know.
So we have a couple announcements before we end the show. Next week we're gonna have Alta Luna on the show, and I'm really stoked about them. They're probably one of my favorite bands out here in Stockton. I work with the drummer and the bassist of Alta Luna at Planet Fitness. I just gotta plug Planet Fitness in real quick. But for sure, Alta Luna is probably one of my favorite bands out here besides Grade Blue. And of course, you know, the bright side is
You don't gotta say that. You don't gotta say that because I'm here.
You know I love your music.
It's okay.
I was gonna say my band, but what band? You know, so that's gonna be fun. Other than that, December 27th, we got the Tower Up with the voice of Joaquin. That's gonna be at Blackwater, and again, that's gonna be Grade Blue headlining, and then it's gonna have Gator and the Donuts from Tracy and Lodi. All Goes Well and That's True that are from both upcoming Stockton bands and Gnarly Critter. Shout out to them. And then December 27th, we're also going to have the Return of the Viking Tour. Would you like to repeat some of the artists that might be playing?
Perp Reynolds, Sam Raw, Swift Homicide, Prize Fighter, Knocked Down, myself.
Saga now.
Saga got added to it, and Kevin Wilson. And then Motec will be speaking to the public about his run for mayor.
Nice.
So,
do you have any upcoming
should be
events?
I just wanted to shout out to the California Women's Music and Idol Beer Works. They are presenting the Ugly Sweater Food Drive on December 21st, 2019.
Hey.
That's going to have Callbox, Funky Tim, Candace Lamb, Koala and the Golden Boy, and our friend Zoe Rose, who was just here last week, correct? And then that's an all-ages event. It's at 100 South Sacramento Street in Lodi. And then the final not-so-secret show is happening December 28th at 6 p.m., 678 Orange Avenue, Patterson, California. That's going to have Silly Lung, Paper Space, Stoop Kids, Cough It Up from Stockton, Malaska from Stockton, and Cardinal Sins.
Their last show. I just
coming
ran
back.
into Ian earlier today at the mall.
Sweet.
He said it's their last show. So, do you want to count us out, Alejo?
Yeah.
oh, before I go,
Yeah.
also on the 27th, like I said earlier, but repeat, Ronee is going to actually do a little bit of a set, and she's the host.
Hey.
So-
Shout out to Ronee for hosting
forget
that.
Sweet. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been the Artist Hour on TVO. It's Jay, the voice of San Joaquin in Stockton, 89.5 FM, KBCC Tracy. Please join us next week with
Alta
Alta
Luna.
Luna, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Hey.